An emotional outburst today in the Michael Jackson wrongful death trial. A nurse practitioner broke down and sobbed as she
Michael Jackson's death shocked the world and immediately became one of the most controversial events in music history. In the years since, countless people have shared their own theories, opinions, and interpretations about what really happened. While many questions have been debated, his passing continues to spark discussion and fascination around the world.
To me, who was treating him with opioids, propofol, or any of those substances.
It's more designed for the faster onset in terms of going off to sleep and the faster.
But what one nurse later claimed about Michael Jackson's final moments left many people stunned and sparked even more questions about the tragic day the king of pop died.
Waking up.
But what a nurse said about MJ's final moments was truly shocking.
He looked at me and he said, "I have a lot of difficulty sleeping."
Sherilyn Lee, a nurse who cared for Michael Jackson in the weeks before his death, later gave courtroom testimony about their final interactions. She said Michael repeatedly asked her for propofol, an anesthetic normally used in operating rooms, despite her warning that it was dangerous outside a proper medical setting. Just days before his death, she also recalled receiving a troubling phone call in which Michael described one side of his body feeling intensely hot while the other felt extremely cold. According to Lee, that conversation stayed with her long after his passing and became one of the most haunting memories she carried into the courtroom.
Tell her that half my body is cold, half my body is...
According to Sherilyn Lee's testimony, Michael Jackson appeared trapped in a cycle of severe insomnia and an increasingly desperate search for relief. She described repeatedly warning him about the dangers of using propofol outside a proper medical setting, but said her advice went unheeded. Her testimony painted the picture of someone trying to help a patient she believed was in serious distress while feeling powerless to change the course of events. Today's topic. A disturbing image circulating online has left many fans shocked and emotional. It appears to show a man resembling Michael Jackson lying in a hospital bed wearing a medical gown, surrounded by monitors, tubes, and other medical equipment, while a healthcare worker stands nearby. Some social media posts claim it captures Michael's final moments or is connected to his alleged last words. However, we have not been able to verify the image or confirm the story behind it. It could be authentic, altered, or entirely AI-generated. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. Dr. Rochelle Cooper, the emergency physician who treated Michael Jackson upon his arrival at UCLA Medical Center, later testified that he was already in cardiac arrest when he reached the hospital. During the trial, Cooper also testified that Dr. Conrad Murray did not initially disclose that propofol had been administered, instead reporting only limited use of sedatives such as lorazepam. According to her testimony, that incomplete information made it more difficult for the emergency team to fully understand the situation during the resuscitation effort. Her account became one of the key pieces of testimony presented during the trial surrounding Michael Jackson's death.
Based on the information I had, I felt a pronouncement of death in the field.
According to the testimony presented at trial, the failure to immediately disclose propofol complicated the emergency team's efforts to fully assess Michael Jackson's condition. Prosecutors argued that this omission delayed critical information during the resuscitation attempt and became a central part of the case against Dr. Conrad Murray, contributing to allegations of gross negligence. Dr. Tao Gwyn, another physician involved in the emergency response at UCLA Medical Center, also described the intense atmosphere inside the trauma bay as doctors fought to save Michael's life. She testified that Dr. Murray repeatedly urged the medical team not to stop their efforts, saying, "Do not give up easily. Try to save his life." However, like Dr. Rochelle Cooper, Gwyn testified that Murray did not initially disclose the administration of propofol, leaving the emergency physicians without what they later described as critical information during one of the most urgent resuscitation efforts of their careers.
We would not give up easily on Mr. Jackson and try to save his...
According to testimony presented during the trial, the lack of complete information made it more difficult for the emergency physicians to fully evaluate Michael Jackson's condition and consider every possible cause of his cardiac arrest. Prosecutors argued that Dr. Conrad Murray's failure to promptly disclose the use of propofol became a key element of the negligence case against him, raising serious questions about his actions during the emergency. Richard Seneff, the paramedic who was among the first emergency responders to enter Michael Jackson's bedroom, also gave important testimony. He told the court that Michael's eyes were fixed and dilated and that his skin felt cool, observations he associated with someone who had likely been in cardiac arrest for some time. Seneff testified that these findings did not appear consistent with Dr. Murray's account that the collapse had occurred only moments earlier. He also recalled Murray appearing extremely anxious and sweating heavily throughout the emergency. Seneff's testimony became another significant piece of evidence presented to the jury as investigators reconstructed the timeline of Michael Jackson's final hours.
Would have told the complete story.
He was non-breathing, he was non-moving, and his eyes.
Richard Seneff's testimony became an important part of the prosecution's timeline. Based on his observations at the scene, he told the court that Dr. Conrad Murray's account of events did not match what emergency responders encountered upon arrival. His testimony helped investigators piece together the sequence of Michael Jackson's final hours using medical observations rather than recollections alone. Paramedic Martin Blunt also testified about what he witnessed inside the bedroom. According to Blunt, both he and Richard Seneff saw Dr. Murray pick up several vials from the floor, including containers of lidocaine, and place them into a bag while emergency efforts were underway. Prosecutors argued that this behavior was significant because it suggested Murray was handling medical items instead of focusing entirely on the patient's care. Blunt's testimony became another key piece of evidence presented during the trial as the jury considered Dr. Murray's actions before and during the emergency response.
The cause was acute propofol in.
Prosecutors argued that Dr. Conrad Murray's actions at the scene raised serious concerns about his priorities during the emergency. Rather than focusing solely on treatment, testimony suggested he handled medical items that later became part of the investigation. This evidence was presented to the jury as part of the prosecution's argument that Murray failed to follow appropriate medical standards during Michael Jackson's final hours. Dr. Christopher Rogers, the chief forensic pathologist who performed Michael Jackson's official autopsy, delivered one of the trial's most significant testimonies. He concluded that the cause of death was acute propofol intoxication, combined with the effects of other sedatives, and ruled the manner of death as homicide. During his testimony, Rogers also rejected the defense's suggestion that Michael had administered the fatal dose himself, explaining that the medical evidence and circumstances did not support that conclusion. His findings became a cornerstone of the prosecution's case against Dr. Murray.
Daddy has been the best father you could ever imagine.
Dr. Christopher Rogers, the chief forensic pathologist who performed Michael Jackson's official autopsy, delivered one of the trial's most significant testimonies. He concluded that the cause of death was acute propofol intoxication, combined with the effects of other sedatives, and ruled the manner of death as homicide. During his testimony, Rogers also rejected the defense's suggestion that Michael had administered the fatal dose himself, explaining that the medical evidence and circumstances did not support that conclusion. He testified that the available evidence did not fit the theory of self-administration and that proper medical monitoring and equipment were absent. His findings became a cornerstone of the prosecution's case against Dr. Conrad Murray, supporting the argument that accepted medical standards had not been followed. Dr. Stephen Schaefer, an expert in anesthesiology, also gave detailed testimony about the medical care Michael Jackson received. He described Dr. Murray's treatment as a serious departure from accepted medical practice, explaining that propofol should never have been administered in a private home without appropriate monitoring equipment, emergency resources, and trained support staff. Schaefer testified that these safety measures are standard whenever the drug is used. He also stated that a physician's responsibility is to refuse treatments that place a patient at unreasonable risk, regardless of the patient's requests. His testimony became another major pillar of the prosecution's case, emphasizing that the decisions made that day violated basic principles of patient safety. Alberto Alvarez, a member of Michael Jackson's security team, testified that he was among the first people to enter the bedroom after the emergency began. According to his testimony, Dr. Murray instructed him to collect 4 bags, medication bottles, and other medical items before emergency services had fully taken control of the scene. Prosecutors argued this behavior suggested an effort to organize or remove medical evidence, while resuscitation efforts were still unfolding. Alvarez also described the emotional scene inside the home, recalling that Prince and Paris Jackson were visibly distressed as medical personnel fought to save their father. His testimony provided both a first-hand account of the emergency and important details about the sequence of events inside the house. Michael Amir Williams, one of Michael Jackson's closest personal assistants, testified about a brief phone call he received from Dr. Murray on June 25, 2009. According to Williams, Murray urgently told him, "Get here right away. Mr. Jackson had a bad reaction. Get somebody up here immediately." Williams immediately alerted security personnel and helped coordinate the emergency response at the Carrollwood Drive residence. His testimony helped investigators establish a clearer timeline of the events leading up to the arrival of paramedics and became another important piece of evidence presented during the trial. Kai Chase, Michael Jackson's personal chef, described how an otherwise ordinary morning suddenly turned into an emergency. She testified that Dr. Murray rushed downstairs calling for help and urgently instructed her to find Prince Jackson. Chase recalled the panic inside the home and explained that Murray's behavior during those moments differed sharply from the composed account later presented to investigators. Her testimony helped corroborate the timeline established by other witnesses and provided the jury with another first-hand description of the chaos inside the house. Fahim Muhammad, another member of Michael Jackson's security team, testified that he entered the bedroom and saw Michael lying on the bed with his eyes and mouth open while Dr. Murray was performing CPR. He also noted that the resuscitation was being carried out on a soft mattress rather than on a firm surface, something emergency medicine experts later testified was not consistent with proper CPR technique. Muhammad further described helping escort Prince and Paris Jackson away from the room as the emergency continued. His testimony connected the medical response with the heartbreaking impact the tragedy had on Michael's children. Kenny Ortega, director of the Plan This Is It concerts, testified that he had become increasingly concerned about Michael Jackson's health during the final rehearsals. He recalled seeing Michael looking extremely thin, shivering despite warm temperatures, and occasionally appearing fatigued and disoriented. Ortega said he expressed those concerns to Dr. Murray, who assured him that Michael was healthy enough to continue preparing for the concerts. His testimony suggested that several people close to the production had already noticed signs that Michael's physical condition was deteriorating in the days leading up to his death. Katherine Jackson, Michael's mother, later testified about the enormous pressure surrounding the Plan This Is It residency in London. She said the demanding rehearsal schedule and business commitments placed tremendous strain on her son during his final months. In separate civil proceedings involving AEG Live, Katherine argued that the company failed to exercise proper oversight regarding Dr. Murray's role and Michael's health. Her testimony broadened the discussion beyond the actions of one physician, raising questions about the wider environment surrounding the comeback concerts. Prince Jackson gave emotional testimony describing life inside the Carrollwood home during his father's final weeks. He recalled seeing Michael become increasingly stressed after business calls and remembered hearing him say, "They're going to kill me." Prince also described witnessing the desperate attempts to revive his father on the morning of June 25, 2009. His testimony offered the jury a deeply personal account of the emotional pressure Michael Jackson was experiencing during the final chapter of his life. Paris Jackson also testified about her father's condition during those final weeks. She described him as frequently exhausted after long rehearsals and remembered how little rest he seemed to get while preparing for the This Is It concerts. Rather than focusing on medical details, Paris spoke about the emotional toll she witnessed as her father struggled to meet the demands of an ambitious comeback. Her testimony provided a powerful reminder that behind the courtroom evidence was a family coping with an immense personal loss.
You have absolutely no idea. I mean, Michael was one of the most...
She described seeing him exhausted after long rehearsals and under tremendous pressure while preparing for the This Is It concerts. Paris recalled feeling powerless as she watched her father struggle physically and emotionally, unable to change what was happening around him. Her testimony brought a deeply personal perspective to the courtroom, reminding everyone that beyond the medical evidence and legal arguments was a family witnessing the gradual decline of someone they loved. Her account emphasized the human cost of the tragedy and the emotional impact it had on those closest to Michael Jackson. LaToya Jackson also spoke publicly following her brother's death, expressing her belief that larger financial interests may have surrounded the circumstances leading up to it. She suggested that Michael Jackson's ownership stake in the valuable Sony/ATV music publishing catalog could have made him the target of people motivated by financial gain. These claims reflected her personal views and those of some family members, but they were not established as fact during the criminal proceedings. The court's case remained focused on the actions of Dr. Conrad Murray and the medical evidence related to Michael's death. Nevertheless, LaToya's statements contributed to the broader public discussion and demonstrated the family's continuing concerns about the pressures and business interests that surrounded Michael Jackson during the final chapter of his life.
I think he did a wonderful job with us. I mean, the outcome, but the way he went about it,
LaToya Jackson continued to speak publicly after Michael Jackson's death, arguing that his passing should be viewed within the wider context of the enormous financial interests surrounding his career and assets. She repeatedly expressed concern that powerful business pressures had influenced the environment in which Michael was living during his final months. While these views received significant public attention, they were not proven in court, and the criminal case remained focused on the actions of Dr. Conrad Murray. Even so, LaToya's statements highlighted the family's belief that money, influence, and commercial interests had played a larger role in Michael Jackson's life than many people realized. Janet Jackson spoke on behalf of the family about the devastating loss of her brother, describing the overwhelming grief they experienced following his death. She explained that family members had long been concerned about Michael Jackson's reliance on prescription medications and had tried on different occasions to encourage him to seek help. According to Janet, Michael's intensely private personality and the small circle of people surrounding him often made it difficult for relatives to reach him or fully understand what he was experiencing. Her comments reflected the painful reality that, despite the family's love and concern, they were unable to prevent the circumstances that ultimately led to his death. Janet's words served as a heartfelt reminder that behind the global superstar was a brother and son whose family had struggled for years to help someone they deeply loved. Janet Jackson also spoke publicly about the devastating loss of her brother, describing the overwhelming grief that affected the entire family after Michael Jackson's death. She explained that family members had long worried about Michael's health and his reliance on prescription medications, and that they had tried on several occasions to encourage him to seek help. According to Janet, Michael's intensely private nature and the close circle surrounding him often made it difficult for relatives to fully understand what he was going through or to intervene effectively. Her comments reflected the painful reality that those closest to him recognized warning signs, but ultimately could not change the course of events. Janet's words became a powerful reminder that behind one of the world's biggest superstars was a family desperately hoping their brother would find peace and recovery before it was too late. Jermaine Jackson also expressed deep regret over the circumstances surrounding his brother's final months. He stated publicly that, had the family known Michael Jackson was receiving propofol treatments inside his home, they would have acted immediately to stop it and seek outside help. Jermaine said he believed Michael was surrounded by people who were not always acting in his best interests and regretted that the family did not have a clearer picture of what was happening behind closed doors. His comments reflected the frustration and heartbreak of a brother who believed more could have been done if the family had been fully informed. While these statements represented Jermaine's personal views, they illustrated the profound sense of loss and unanswered questions that continued to affect the Jackson family long after Michael's death. Nicole Alvarez, an employee of Dr. Conrad Murray, provided important testimony about the procurement of propofol before Michael Jackson's death. She testified that packages containing medical supplies, including propofol, were shipped to her apartment on Murray's behalf because he did not want them delivered directly to his own address. Prosecutors argued that these deliveries demonstrated advanced planning for administering the anesthetic outside a hospital setting. Alvarez also testified that Dr. Murray contacted her by phone on the day of Michael's death while he was accompanying him to the hospital. Her testimony became another significant part of the prosecution's effort to establish the sequence of events and the preparation surrounding the use of propofol. Debbie Rowe, who had known Michael Jackson for many years, also spoke about his long history of medical treatment following the serious burns he suffered during the 1984 Pepsi commercial accident. She described how chronic pain became an ongoing challenge throughout his life and expressed concern that repeated prescriptions from multiple physicians contributed to his dependence on pain medication. Rowe argued that some medical professionals failed to establish appropriate boundaries and instead continued prescribing medications that ultimately worsened his condition. Her testimony and public statements highlighted the long-term medical consequences of the 1984 accident and the complex relationship between chronic pain, prescription drugs, and Michael's declining health. Lisa Marie Presley also recalled conversations she had with Michael Jackson about his fears regarding prescription medication. According to Presley, Michael once told her he worried he could end up dying in a manner similar to her father, Elvis Presley, whose death involved prescription drugs. Looking back after Michael's passing, she described that conversation as deeply haunting because it reflected fears he had expressed years earlier. Her account suggested that Michael understood the risks associated with powerful medications, even though he continued struggling with the health issues and insomnia that led him to seek treatment. Her testimony and later interviews added another emotional dimension to understanding Michael Jackson's final years.